I think a large reason the Leafs were in a shell for the second and third period was because I think they knew that they could get these types of opportunities. I don't know if they thought that they could capitalize on them consistently and score goals, but I think what they showed in game one and then scoring the 2 goals early is that when they are playing at 5-on-5 for offense and they're trying to make these little plays and take advantage of the mistakes that the Sens make, they're usually able to capitalize on them. And they'll at least get the opportunities to get the attempt to capitalize on them. And I don't think they're worried too much about the Sens in these situations. So they can go into a shell with a 2-goal lead, and if it does blow up and it's back to 2-2, they can go back to playing their hockey they play at the beginning of the game, and they know they're probably going to win that battle.
So with
Domi.
With regards to the amount of shots they're taking, right? Because there was some conversation about, the Sens are sort of throwing everything at the net. And
Leafs don't do that.
No, they don't. So when you do that, though, and you look at advanced numbers, right? A lot of people, especially listening to this show, will look at those things. And I want to know if you can explain what the Leafs strategy in that is, because in previous years it was for them, well, we gotta, if these numbers aren't doing well, then we're not doing well. Mm-hmm. It seems like this year they kind of look at it differently of hey, we, as Jesse just mentioned, we get 2 styles of play here. We can go into a shell and actually effectively shut it down. Mm-hmm. And if we can't do that, if the puck doesn't go our way or if it bounces off somebody or whatever, then we can go back to playing the other way where we do. How are the Leafs generating more high danger chances that are more effective than the Senators? How is that possible?
Well, I don't know. We're in a store. People are shopping here, but they go to the net. Riley goes to the net. JT goes to the net. Nye's on the power play. Their power play has been way better at that, but they're scoring nonsense. Some of them are sexy goals. OEL had a snipe, but obviously Domi had a snipe. I'm talking about the first 2 games. They're going off skates. They're going off defenders. There's tips. There's rebounds. Shouldn't say nonsense, but listen, the Keefe Leafs were a highlight reel.
Yeah.
They were better to watch. Their highlights were better to watch, and they lost when the playoffs arrived. And these are the kinds of goals you have to friggin' score. These are the kinds of goals you have to friggin' score, dude. The Bruins, when they tied up Game 7 last year, who was it? It was their 4th friggin' line.
Right.
Well, I think it was Hampus Lindholm, but their 4th line was out there. That was ugly. Gross. Didn't like it. But how many times are we willing to be I'm looking at how I'm talking about the Sens, and I see so much of how I used to talk about the Leafs.
Okay, and in what way?
If Ullmark had only pulled it off the line, if it doesn't bounce off Ullmark and then Jensen and in, if only they made this one play better on Domi or on Benoit, and we would trick ourselves into thinking the Leafs are one play away. They're one play away. They just got to get a video session under them. They got to get yelled at by the coach just once. They got to get this one guy in the bottom 6 out of the lineup or off the 3rd pair, and that's just not how it works. It's a team discipline that the Leafs have this time around. That's how I feel about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Jesse?
And I think we have to remember the 82 games that the Leafs just played.
So many games.
They played a million games like the one last night. They don't outshoot their opponent. They don't dominate on offense and just storm away. They play really boring, ugly hockey, and they've been doing that all season long. And during the regular season, they were 35-1-1 when entering the 3rd period with a lead.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous. And if you want to go even further back in the game, when leaving the 1st period with a lead, so entering the 2nd period with a lead, they were 26-3.
Jeez.
They don't play this crazy run-and-gun style of hockey where leads are bouncing back and forth. They usually get a lead, sit back, play a different style, let the other team get a million shots, run up the deserve-to-win-o-meter in the Corsi stats because the shots they're allowing are really muffins, and then they comfortably go to bed with a victory.
Well, and so 26-3, that's not even 30 games.
No.
Right? So that means the rest of them, almost 50, are tight or they're losing, right?
Or tied.
Yeah. They play really They've played tight games all year, and I think that's part of the reason why, maybe we didn't give them the respect they deserved heading into the playoffs. Their goal differential wasn't even. You look at Tampa,
was like 70 plus or something.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because they would run teams over. Leafs this year, with the very few exceptions, just didn't really do that. They just sort of stacked up wins.
Linus, one more thing on the shots thing. I think it makes people, after 9 years in Toronto of doing it the other way, Keith Hockey, and even Babs, I mean, that was always the goal, was to outshoot teams.
Of course.
It's making people uncomfortable. It makes them a bit jittery. Is there a reason why they shouldn't be other than, the 35 1-1 stat is unbelievable. Like that they
when you enter the third
period with the lead. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't it make them uncomfortable? It's going to be a process.
Because they won the division for the first time in forever. Like they've never had a successful regular season like this where they've taken advantage of the opportunity that they've had and capitalized it. Like they are the second best team in the Eastern Conference for a reason. Like why people shouldn't be nervous is the evidence of the body of wins in the regular season. Right. They mean something for this team this year.
So I'm trying to think back to Colorado, 2013 or 14. They finished, I want to say it was third in the NHL.
The Corsi, Colorado team.
Yes.
And everyone was like, these guys are frauds. And they lose in the first round of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And, they won. They did all those things that we just said. I hate to be unk about this, but it's somewhat of a feel thing. Listen, there were times last night where I was like, oh, they're getting outshot, and they do not mean for it to be this way.
Right.
The Sens are outplaying them. And, there's going to be stretches in nearly every game where you're not the better team. It's ebbs and flows. But game one, all that stuff about, the Sens at 5-on-5, I thought it was all garbage. I thought it was all smoke and mirrors. It never actually felt like the Leafs were in danger. This was a much tighter game. The Sens did a better job exhausting the Leafs, like I said, hemming the Leafs in. Game one, I thought they were just peppering the net with garbage. They had a game plan that the one discipline thing I will say about the Sens is you're getting outshot 7-0. Nothing is going through. You're still firing all this stuff, and it's just hitting legs and sticks and bodies, and nothing is working. They kept doing it until it worked. So I'll give the Sens credit there. But in terms of the Leafs, I encourage you to go back and watch highlights of the Randy Carlyle Leafs. It's not the same.
Not the same. Okay, because I think that's what old fans like of our age think about when they think about being outshot. It's like, oh, James Reimer's just going to save us, and maybe we'll get a key goal.
Well, because Reimer, one of the criticisms of him was part of the reason he faced so many shots was he would give up rebounds. Stolarz gives up rebounds, but the Leafs do a good job of clearing them because they have big bodies in front. They have a much more disciplined forward group that helps out and blocks shots. And, we criticize the team for giving up the point too easily. And they probably still give it up a little bit, but there's a little bit of... They're doing a far superior job to blocking shots than they did most of the season. That's probably on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If you're blocking the most shots in the entire league all season long, surely that's going to have some sort of effect on you long term.
Yes.
Surely that's going to wear you down like a rock on the beach, right? I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place here. I didn't get a whole ton of sleep last night. These are not the Randy Carlyle Leafs.
Okay. All right. Now, on the subject of Linus Ullmark, if you're a Sens fan, you've seen 9 goals go in 2 games. And that, I think that, game 1, he looked uncomfortable. Game 2, he looked uncomfortable in the first.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the rest of the game was bad. Or
I thought he had a good game post first period.
Yeah.
But that's how the Leafs wanted the game to go.
Yeah. Again, it goes off a skate. Although it should have been obvious that was coming. And I mean, if it's a shot, it's probably faster. It goes off his skate. And the other one goes off his defender after he makes the initial save.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is the game wasn't on Allmark.
No.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he cost them either of these victories.
No.
What would you put it on?
Team play. I think game one is immaturity. You taking a whole bunch of penalties. You didn't know how to come out and play that game. And then last game, you just got outplayed because the Leafs played great defense, and you had opportunities in the middle of the second where you should have pushed harder for offense because the Leafs weren't doing anything there, and they were playing great defense. And you had a bunch of opportunities, but they weren't good shots.
Drake Batherson pulled off something on the OT goal that you legitimately rarely ever see. It was his fault at both ends of the ice.
Yes.
That's hard to do.
He had the turnover, and then he went back to the other end and did nothing.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that's not on your goaltender. That's
No.
on the team and the structure.
Yes.
They got to be playing better hockey.
Yeah, Max probably should never have had a shot.
No.
Like, not even a floater.
No, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Batherson should have done something.
No, and Cousins. I'll still
Yeah,
put it on Cousins.
and which one of the cousins?
Like Dylan, gosh darn it.
I'm gonna do that every time.
I was about to chirp and say, I don't think Nick Cousins is seeing the ice in overtime. Oh, wait, he buried the Leafs 2 years ago. Anyway, we're talking about wins exclusively right now. The one defensive Batherson is maybe he's thinking like, well, Cousins has this. Dylan. And he didn't. Doesn't matter. Like, sick goal. If you're looking at it as a Leaf fan, you're like, hooray, amazing. Objectively speaking, I'm stunned. I'm stunned it went in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stunned he got the shot off.
But that's how playoff goals are scored. Like the one that Gaudette scored is a wacky turnover by OEL and Domi where they misplay it, and he sends one on net, and finally it goes through. Like, that's how all of these playoff goals are usually scored. It's not the William Nylander breakaways we see in the regular season. Like, those aren't going to come so often in the playoffs.
Although we
here.
did get a Tavares break.
We did get that. But
Yes, we did.
which is rare.
Yeah.
but
like
yes.
that's how the Sens got to score these goals, take advantage of the opportunities, right?
I want to ask what the players and what Craig Berube said post game, Jesse. Did you and I know Travis Green was talking about, he's like, I still liked our game tonight.
Yeah,
I think
he's
right.
always going to pump up the guys.
Yeah.
You know, he said he talked to the team because it's like not all coaches. We went through this with
Laviolette.
with Laviolette. Not all coaches go in the room and chat with the guys before they come out and talk with us. So he said, yeah, we talked before I came to see you guys, and everybody's very confident about what we're doing here. Like, we lost 2 games on the road, and we're going back home now. So the series isn't lost or anything like that. We're not worried. And I think he's confident how they're playing at 5-on-5, which I don't know if he should be, but he is.
I almost wonder, like, the OT winner, do you even need to go through that play if you're the coaching staff? Like, to me, it was so bad that I think everything should be pretty obvious to elite players, which everyone in the NHL is. Batherson's a really good player. If the Sens get back in the series, a lot of that's going to be on him. They gave up a lot to get Dylan Cousins. I'm shocked by it. I'm still shocked by it.